aṣọ wíwọ̀ pẹ̀lú irun orí obìnrin eré orí ìtàgé kó má parẹ́ o. ẹ jẹ́ ká múra ara mi. ẹ jẹ́ ká múra ara mi. ẹ jẹ́ ká múra ara mi.
ẹ jẹ́ ká múra ẹ̀yin ará mi. ẹ jẹ́ ká múra àṣà ìbílẹ̀ Yorùbá àtohun àdáyébá, iṣẹ́ ọwọ́, iṣẹ́ ọnà, ijó alárinrin, ewì, ọfọ̀, òun ìjálá, aṣọ wíwọ̀ pẹ̀lú orí obìnrin, eré orí ìtàgé, ẹ̀kọ́ tó yè kooro kó má parẹ́ o. ẹ jẹ́ ká múra wọ ara mi.
ẹ jẹ́ ká múra wọ ara mi.
àwa Yorùbá Ọlọ́run máa kẹwàá o. ẹ rí i pé máa ń tẹnu mọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀ púpọ̀ jù. kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan míì bí kò ṣe yí pé tá a bá pè mí ní ilẹ̀kùn kò fẹ́ burú jù, torí ilẹ̀kùn lórílé torí ta. mo dẹ̀ sọ eléyìí nínú ìtẹríba yí pé mo ti rìnrìn àjò díẹ̀ káàkiri àgbáyé, so mo mọrú ẹwà irú ìtẹríba àti ìgbà tọwọ́tọsẹ̀ tó wà fún àwa Yorùbá káàkiri àgbáyé, táwọn eléré wa, àwọn olórin wa, àwọn oníṣẹ́ ọnà wa tí wọ́n ti ń ṣe láti máa fún àwa Yorùbá ní iyì àti ẹ̀yẹ káàkiri àgbáyé. Eléyìí la fi wọlé lọ́sàn-án ẹ̀ní nígbà tá à ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run wípé níwòyí ìjẹjọ tá a wà lórí ètò rẹ̀ tí Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ tún kádàrá pé ká túnjọ wà lénìí. ọ̀pọ̀ òjò ló ti rọ̀ tílẹ̀ ti fi mú kì í dẹ̀ ṣe pé bóyá wà la gbọ́n àbáwà la mọ̀ ṣe, bí kò ṣe pé Ọlọ́run ọba ò ní òun fún wa là ń ráàánú gbà lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ tí ń fi àánú yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ wa, gẹ́gẹ́ bí olórin kan ó ní fàánú yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ mi, fàánú yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ mi, fàánú yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ mi, kò fọ̀rọ̀ mi ṣe ìyanu. Adúpẹ́ pọ̀lọ̀ fọ̀rọ̀ wá ṣe ìyanu, adúpẹ́. Lónìí àwa tún pàdé àlẹ́nu ẹkún àní ẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ́ òṣè. Kí ló jẹ́ kí n sọ̀rọ̀ ẹni pé lé ìwòyí ìjẹjọ síbí àwọn olórin méjì nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ni wọ́n ti papòdà. Ó tún ká sọ pé ẹ tó ti papòdà ṣé ẹ wá ní ìyẹn ò tó ẹnu ẹkún ẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ́ òṣè, ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ní onírèsí ò bá fi gbámọ́, èyí tó ti fi kò lè parun. Iṣẹ́ ribiribi tààrà bí ìṣe sílẹ̀ láwọn olórin méjì gbáǹkọ́ ṣàǹkó tí wọ́n papòdà níjẹjọ síbí kò lè jẹ́ ká sunkún bí kò ṣe pé ká máa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run fún wọn, ká tó wá máa fàdúrà sí wọn wípé iwájú tán dojú kọ kó má bàjẹ́, ẹ̀yìn tán fi sílẹ̀ kó má bàjẹ́ bákan náà. àwọn olórin méjì wo làwọn á sọ o nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun nìkan ṣoṣo. ẹ̀yin ará Ọ̀ṣun mo kí yín o, ẹ̀kú ara fẹ́ra kù. Orlando Julius Èkémọdé Afrobeat originator. Ẹja ńlá lọ lómi,
àràbà ńlá lọ níjù.
àràbà ńlá lọ níjù. ṣé ń bo làwọn èèyàn ò gbé iṣẹ́ orin dé, pàápàá jùlọ pẹ̀lédè Yorùbá tó ń fi ń kọrin tó ń dàpọ̀ méjì òyìnbó ní Hollywood ní California. èmi mọ gbogbo bí tí èmi mọ̀ gbà tí Orlando Julius ń gbé l'Amẹ́ríkà ní Oakland, California. ní ọ̀hún yẹn OJ orange juice la máa ń pè wọ́n.
Orange juice.
Yes, Orlando Julius but orange juice la máa ń pè wọ́n. gbogbo Bay Area, Oakland, California, Palo Alto, San Francisco, Sacramento àti gbogbo àwọn ibì wọ̀nyẹn ní Orlando Julius ló mì tìtì lásìkò yẹn dẹ̀ káàkiri gbogbo Amẹ́ríkà. Àwọn eléré ṣàǹkóṣàǹkó tán jẹ́ eléré Amẹ́ríkà ló tún ti bá ṣeré papọ̀, Lamondozia and all those musicians. So I'm a living witness to the great achievements of Orlando Julius, OJ Ekemode, popularly known as Orange Juice, as called by his friends and acolytes. So, ọ̀run rẹ̀ rẹ̀ o, Orlando Julius. Ẹnì kejì tó tún papòdà lọ́ṣun, Adédára Arúra lọ́jà ọba, òun náà mọ̀ tún papòdà. Igi ńlá mọ̀ tún lọ nígbín, ó mọ̀ tún lọ nú igbó. Àràbà ńlá ó mọ̀ tún ya lọ nínú ijù Ọ̀ṣun. Tó bàbá sì sọ pé Ọ̀ṣun gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá là ń wí ni, torí ìkankan náà jọ ní gbogbo wa. Ẹ̀yin ará Ọ̀yọ́, ará Èkó, ará Oǹdó, ará Èkìtì, bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ tán jẹ́ South West, ẹ̀kú ara fẹ́ra kú o. Adédára Arúra, ọ̀run rẹ̀ rẹ̀ o. Èyí là á wò gbogbo iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ tí wọ́n ti ṣe, gbogbo ribiribi tí wọ́n ṣe lẹ̀ kí wọ́n tó papòdà, ó la máa yiri wò lénìí. Ọ̀rẹ́ yín, brọ́dà yín, àbúrò yín, ẹ̀gbọ́n yín, bàbá yín, ọmọ yín ń bẹ gidigba lónìí o, láti wá fi wá mọ̀nà ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ iṣẹ́ ribiribi tí àwọn ará bíi ti ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe wọn. Ẹ bá mi pàtẹ́wọ́ fún ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ayọ̀ Dayọ̀ Alówólò, the evergreen. Èmi náà pa ọ́. Kí wọ́n bọ́ sórí afẹ́fẹ́, kí wọ́n bá wa nà ń bẹ́ẹ̀, kí tiẹ̀ ló pa ara bíi gan-an. Irú ikú wo ni wọ́n kú? Irú àlàfo wo ni ó ṣílẹ̀ lẹ́yìn ikú wọn báyìí? Báwo la ṣe wá dí àlàfo ohun tí òfin ní di nǹkan tó yẹ pé a sọ pé àyè tán filẹ̀ kò ṣeé dí o? Ìyẹn ni a pè ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ayọ̀ Dayọ̀ Alówólò ẹni ṣọlẹ̀.
Ẹ ṣé gan, mo kí gbogbo àwọn ará ilé tó ń wò wá gẹ́gẹ́ bá a ṣe ń ṣe níjọ́ mẹ́jọ. A tún ti dé sórí ètò Aloore, Ojú Inú Agba Oye ní abala ètò tiẹ̀ ní. Ibi tá a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ rí pé a bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní kọ́mọ́kóbó, torí pé gbogbo nǹkan tí a máa ń sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ tá a kọ́kọ́ fún máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó dàbí pé mo lóòtú ètò ìyẹn olóyè ètò Dẹ́dúnládé wọn kọ́ ní káti ẹ̀fì ẹ̀ tìǹà torí igi ńláńlá méjì tó lọ láàrin oṣù kan. Ẹ má sì gbàgbé o pé láàrin oṣù náà náà ń celebrate ẹnìkan tó jẹ́ òun náà jẹ́ àgbà eléré tó ń ṣe wà láàyè.
tó tọ́ màá tiẹ̀ tún nìyẹn.
Ó wá fi ẹ̀ pé oṣù April ṣe ó kà mọ̀mọ́ nígbà tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa iṣẹ́ orin. Orlando Julius Ekemode kan ní sọ́ọ̀nì ìmọ̀ ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú-Jẹ̀ṣà ni wọ́n.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
ilé Ọ̀ṣun. Wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ eré tiwọn nínú ìtàn wọn kan tí mo kà pé báwo náà ṣe débi iṣẹ́ eré wọ́n ti máa ń dùn. Wọ́n nígbà tí Kwame Nkrumah he advised Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀. Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀ asked, they were this frontrunner in this Pan-Africanism, whatever.
Okay.
So then he said Awólọ́wọ̀ was asking Kwame Nkrumah why did he show so much interest in music.
Awólọ́wọ̀ was asking Kwame Nkrumah why so much interest in music.
Then Kwame Nkrumah said, look, you developed the youth's brain. Sports developed the youth physically. The music developed the mentally. Brain and everything. And you'll be able to empower many youths when they engage in what they love doing, their talent. So he now said, Chief Obafemi in the Western region established a kind of school of music for youth.
Okay.
So he attended. Although he had been showing interest in music right from home at Ìjẹ̀bú-Jẹ̀ṣà. You see, he was even a member of this Ike Dairo's
Okay.
Yes. And Ike Dairo happened to be like a cousin to him because they are both from Ìjẹ̀bú-Jẹ̀ṣà. So when Ike Dairo wanted to form his band, Orlando
was part of that story.
So he played with him. Then he established his own band in 1963. I read another thing so interesting when they were talking of the originator of Afrobeat. We always allude it to
Fela Anikulapo Kuti.
But he said something that when he was performing at Independence
Club
here
in Ibadan.
Okay,
Bola.
Because he came all the way from Ijebu-Isha to Ibadan. So he said he will sit down, he will watch. There is a particular artist. I'm still making research on that artist. Then he will sit down watching them perform. So one day he now collected one of the drums. Okay. Started beating it for them. So they were so impressed that this guy
can play the drum.
Yes. So little by little he played a beat with that group. Okay, in 1963 he formed his own band. Then he said Fela was still working with Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation
at the time. That's the first job he got when he came back from
Fela would come to Ibadan to watch Orlando Okemode performing. And he said, do you know Fela do not even take alcohol back there?
Fela was such a gentleman.
Very gentleman, very handsome. Then he said Fela will sit down, watch him perform. He did not say Fela ò tí máa kọrin. Ó ní Fela máa wá sí Ìbàdàn tó bá jókòó. Ó ní tó bá fẹ́ ṣe Fela lẹ́yìn ju Fanta ló máa rà. Yeah. Don't forget pé Fela ṣì jù lọ a bit. I think Fela was born 1938.
1938.
Then he was born in 1943, I think.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. That's about 5 years.
Yeah, difference. So it means but when you start looking at what music do we call Afro, you know, there was a time we were discussing Fuji, who originated Fuji or whatever. Then we now said, okay, who first used that title on his album?
On his album.
Ande Barrister.
Ande Barrister, of course.
So before all that, I started using that name, Fuji, Fuge. It was Barrister. So all of them have been calling it Were whatever.
Were.
So whether they like it or not, Fuji was originated by Barrister.
Barrister.
So when we are not talking
may
of
so rest
Afro,
in perfect peace.
When we are not talking of Afro, the music Fela was playing at the beginning was high life.
Pure yes.
High life. And all of them started with pure high life. So later on, we now look at the music that sounded like Afro. I used to say, I searched for it, I couldn't get it. You remember Orlando sang a song? So, Ewa Bo,
Ewa Bo, Eyi Mama Wa, Eje Komo Yi Oko She Owo.
Unfortunately, I searched for the song, I couldn't get it.
Oh.
But is it not sounding like so?
Like Afro? It sounds like
yes. The fella came and pronounced the name African Beat. That is what was starting to Afrobeat.
Afrobeat, okay.
African Beat. You know, Fela was playing a hybrid of high life and jazz.
Yes, hybrid of high life. I was about to say that.
Yes. You see, the jazz of Oyinbo's could mean is our jazz, no rhythm, nothing. But when Fela came, he put in rhythm that has roots in African culture. So everybody can identify with it.
Although some people have argued that actually jazz came out of Africa too.
Yes, it came among Africans.
Yes.
But over there, I learned that when the different culture, not so instead of singing, I think they can use implements. Then they are what jazz at least. Jazz means something senseless.
Something that is.
Jazz but by the time these people started developing it, and some of them now started getting learned and have access to piano, they started introducing all this.
Other instruments.
And it now started making sense.
Yes.
Because whenever they are playing that, they will be remembering that they came from somewhere. And jazz appeals to heart.
Of course.
Yes. It's only people, of course. It is only people of deep intelligence that can appreciate jazz.
Yes.
Like an aspect of your art. You call one abstract.
Abstract, yes.
Not everybody can appreciate abstract.
Yes.
So when we're talking of Orlando Julius now, Orlando Julius formed his own band. He called it Modern Aces in 1963. Then he started experimenting with Afrobeat in 1968. Yes. And he was the exponent of Ashiko sound. He performed a little bit with Julius Araba.
Okay, you know, I performed with Baba too before myself.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, Baba Julius Araba started with his wife.
Yes,
himself,
yes.
and the wife will be beating check.
I can't remember her name. I think he used to call Auntie Peju or something like that.
So then he had played host to many world musicians. In fact, when James Brown came to
Yes.
Nigeria, you know, he performed. Orlando Julius performed. He opened the stage for James Brown in Ibadan here
Yes,
in 1969. Some of his works that he did, you know, he based his music on moral upbringing. Yes. Jaguanana.
Jaguana now.
Sisi yes. Jaguanana now. So Orlando used part of his own music to sing. He borrowed that lyric when he was singing of Mapami Yawo Lele. He used part of Jaguanana's Maria ni Sokoto,
Maria ni Calabar,
Maria ni Ibadan, Maria Lagerike, Oni Osogbo, Ola Ibadan, Eregbere to Mary. That is Orlando. But he borrowed that aspect from Orlando original Jaguanana. And one of these young artists also did Jaguanana. So when he was singing it, then he said, maximum respect to Orlando. Oh, I was laughing. I said, he did not even trace the root of Jaguanana. And Jaguanana was based, you know, on that book written by Soprano Quincy.
Yes, Soprano Quincy. Yes, Jaguanana's daughter.
Yes, daughter. So then he also he did Topless.
Benny.
You know, look at the music. The music he released in the 50s or early 60s. Topless Komada.
Láti wọ̀ jáde. Láti wọ̀ jáde.
He was criticizing the women when they were
dressing
and exposing the upper
part of their body
or the cleft of their breasts, so to say. So it means we are circulating fashion. So those women had worn that type of dress. What you wore aṣọ tó ń fi àyà lẹ̀ in those days. Tó dẹ̀ tó máa fi ìtàn lẹ̀. Má forgọ́tà. So la máa ń pè gbà yẹn wọ́n láwọn àti wa wọ̀ má forgọ́tà. It means tó bá fẹ́ forgọ́tà báyìí. Aṣọ yẹn ti tight ó tó wá fò. So ẹsẹ̀ aha ó lè ṣubú. Or kò gbọ́dọ̀ mú coin. So tó bá ti ń bọ̀ gbà yẹn wọ́n lè ju coin lọ bá mi mú owó yẹn wá. Tó bá fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀. Because it was so skimpy.
Yes.
So Orlando Julius now sang Topless Komada
láti wọ̀ jáde.
Tó bá dúró wọ́n rí, tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n rí. Aṣọ tí ó dòkè tí wọ́n pè ní
topless.
Aṣọ tí ó délẹ̀ tí wọ́n pè ní yàrá òkú ọ̀rọ̀ yìí sú mi. He sang that song. Then he's the one who sang Ẹ jẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ yín kọ́ iṣẹ́ ọwọ́.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ẹ wá gbọ́.
Ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, ẹ wá gbọ́, ẹ̀yin màmá wa,
ẹ jẹ́ kọ́mọ
yín ó kọ́ṣẹ́ ọwọ́.
He sang that song in the late 60s rather.
Late 60s, yes.
And what are we clamoring for now? Do you know those people who are the artisans and who can communicate in English? They find it easier to travel out of this country than even university graduates.
Wow.
Especially when they say they are looking for them in Canada, wherever they say,
yes, what can you do? Not a matter of how much certification you have.
So he did that. Then he's the one who sang Ololufe.
Benny.
He repeated it again. He said, Ololufe, ma komi titi aye, Jimbashe, Olomi, Bimi sọ fún mi. Adumarada, Olomi eyin fún jowo, Ṣẹ̀mí ń bi ẹ́ lógun
ọ̀rẹ́ olólùfẹ́. Ọ̀gá ẹ̀ ti ṣiṣẹ́ o. Olúwa o.
Then you repeated it. You modernizing that. Ìwọ
olólùfẹ́ mi
jọ̀wọ́ dákun má
máa kọ̀ mí sílẹ̀. Ìwọ ni mo fẹ́ràn jù.
I love you ní gbogbo ayé mi.
Ní gbogbo ayé mi.
He sang that song and you know he said bójú wo ló fẹ́. Olólùfẹ́ ò máa fún ẹ, bójáṣọ ló fẹ́. Olólùfẹ́ ò máa raṣọ fún ẹ, bó ṣọmọ ló fẹ́. Àáké Olúwa, àfọwà ní tiwa, ìwọ olólùfẹ́ mi. That was Orlando Julius for you.
Ọ̀gá ẹ̀ ti
So
ṣiṣẹ́.
yes, then by the time he returned to Nigeria. Ẹ̀bà mi kíra mi ló lè ṣáadé o.
Ṣé kìí ṣe mọ̀nàmọ́ná ló kàn ẹ́ ṣá?
We were contending it the other time.
Yes.
I got it. Maybe he did what Mọ̀nàmọ́ná sang. You know, Astrop is also
Ìmọ̀ kíráríà lè jẹ́ ṣá ilé o.
When Orlando came, he sang that
song.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So it was you that first pointed it out that it was Astro and Amana that did it. So that is Orlando Julius for you. Is the time will not permit us.
I know. Too bad.
Now, then when we're talking of Adedara, you see, that is one of our traditional Yoruba
traditional musician.
Yes.
Of note.
And you know, Adamo originated from the source of the Yorubas, from Ife. And Adamo originated from Ife. And remember, part of the drums we use for Adamo is traditionally Yoruba
drum.
Many people don't know that this talking drum we are talking about, the gogo, is not originally Yoruba drum.
Is it not really?
No. We borrowed it
from.
It was during the war. It is the Oyos that first of all took it from the Northerners. The Northerners have their own. So when the Oyos now
their own is Kanakagu.
They have it that shape. Our own is Bembe. You know, when Bembe Luluri, then we have Bata.
Yes.
Now, when we now took that one during the war, our people now added all this or song whatever and Shawuru, and they can now use it. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. They put their own skill into it. Yes, because by the time we made the research on a television program, we were surprised it was a talking drama that even told out the story of how everything started in he said go and make research in the 17th century. You won't hear that Yoruba beat that kind of drum.
Really?
That had that shape of talking drum. Hello, producer, you're
Yes, we
are going to work. But when you talk of Bembe, it is part of our own, it's our own traditional something. And that is why Yoruba say Bembe ni olori ilu. We have gudu, we have bata, we have omele. All these are ours. And these are part of things you use for Adamo. You know, Adamo Ife. It originated from Ife. Then Anilesha is the closest to Ife. And so we have Adamo there. Adeyera.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
That is from
decency. Olayera mani.
Olayera.
Decency Olayera.
Durojaye
Aremu, yes.
It's also from Ife.
Ife.
In Ilesha now we have Bisi Leko. That's senior Adedara.
Okay.
So then Adedara, it was Adedara that seems to have modernized it a little bit back then that made it so appealing. And there were two that began it together, but it was the one who was persistent.
Okay.
That. So later on we talk.
What about this other man from Ikiti?
That is Adepoju or Lapoju.
Sure, Nisha.
Or you are talking of Elemure.
Elemure. Ṣé a lè pe Aládàmọ̀ ni?
Is Adamo Ikiti now. But Elemure is not from Emure.
Oh.
He's from Ikole.
Okay.
But
he's still Ekiti.
He's still Ekiti. And we have Adepoju, who's senior Elemure.
Okay.
Because when we're talking of Durojaye or
Olayera, decency.
Adedara
Arunra.
We're talking of Adepoju in Ekiti.
Yes.
So
yes.
I even learned that he was once in the army. So he was also a very powerful Adamo musician. Then later on, Elemure came up. Elemure now modernized it. So with percussion and everything. You know, he was a very young person by the time he came in.
Yes.
So we are going to miss this Adedara Ariora.
Oh, I know greatly.
Orlando Julius
too. Wow.
Yes. The time will not permit
Orange juice. Yes.
I will have want to.
Actually, what we are going to do next week.
Yeah.
We
play the music.
Exactly. We play the music next week.
Yes.
So people can really enjoy. We will devote time for people to really enjoy listening and watching on video.
One of Ebenezer Obey's number that is 50 years old today.
Okay.
This month. 50 years old number he released. He released a record 50 years.
21st of April.
Yes.
So that should be 19.
No, the record was released early in April. Because he used it to advertise Keep Right.
Oh yes, that's right.
Ọwọ́ ọ̀tún la ó máa gbà ẹ ṣe jẹ́
ara ipa tó rin kó láyé ìgbà ẹ tá a gbọ́mọ́ sí ni.
That is Sunny's brand, Sunny's home. Apá ọ̀tún la ó máa gbà ní Nàìjíríà. Aago 4 òwúrọ̀ kùrù, April 2nd, 72. Sunday 2nd April. Ẹ ṣe jẹ́jẹ́, ẹ lọ ṣe ìbà Ògún o, kẹ́ tó jáde nílé, that is Sunday. Obe also released his song.
What was Obe's like?
Obe's like, okay, can we?
Okay, you know what? I think this we are going to push the next week.
Okay,
it's getting quite amazing. I mean, listening to you talk about all these things.
Yes.
So I would say thank you so very much once again.
All right.
Thank you. So next week.
Yes,
listeners at home or wherever you are, you're on Aloore Radio. The program Oju Inu Agba Oye, and we're transmitting from www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio, on YouTube at Aloore Radio, on your website www.aloreradio.com, and the number to call in. We're not going to ask you to call now, but you can call at a later time after this program to find out more about this radio station. 09039853731. It is as if point that I will say, Mr. Da, you have outdone yourself again today.
Thank you very much,
and we expect to see
thank you for the opportunity
and watch and listen to some of these
works that we are talking about today.
Thank you.
So audience at home, agree that we have already whet your appetite.
Yes.
Towards next
week. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Okay, bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, papas, mama, brothers and sisters at home, the program continues in a moment while we bring in on board our big brother who was here last week, and he has honored us to come again this week. So you're going to be in for some good treat now. Thanks so much.
Aṣọ wíwọ̀ pẹ̀lú irun orí obìnrin, èrè orí ìtàgé kó má parẹ́ o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká múra ara mi. Ẹ jẹ́ ká múra.
Welcome back from that short break. Again, we're on Aloore Radio. Facebook, www.facebook.com/Aloore, on YouTube at Aloore Radio, website www.aloreradio.com, and the number to call is 09039853731. Wow, we are back again. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Dr. Tunde Adebola, it's so nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And you will recall that last week, when we were having our conversation about, the bars of ATM, the different languages that the ATM speaks today. Yoruba, Igbo, àti Hausa. And we are fortunate again to have Dr. Adebola back. And I really thank him because he was scheduled to be somewhere else today, but he said he will honor us by coming just so we can continue on that, conversation. We are back. And today I'm going to kickstart, the conversation with him by him telling us more about the digitization of our radio today, and if you like, maybe our television too. Is he on that? Good. So he's going to tell us more about that. We've already heard how the formation of some radio stations, like some radio stations here in Nigeria and other parts of Africa, how Dr. Adebola was responsible in planting some of this radio. I mean, I don't know any other person who can boastfully come out and say that, but for him. So we thank God for his life. And you will recall Dr. Adebola is the founder of African Languages Technology Initiative, and of course Tiwa System, which in fact led to a lot of major discoveries in the broadcasting industry, and which we're all glad about. Dr. Adibola, welcome once again.
Thank you.
Tell me about moving from analog radio and television to digital radio and television today. Whose idea was that?
Well, the idea for migration
Yes.
of digital technology, analog technologies to digital, is actually of the United Nations.
Okay.
The special interest group of the United Nations for Communications is the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union.
Okay.
As technology was developing, it was discovered that the way we use the electromagnetic spectrum that is used to broadcast,
Okay.
both radio and television, traditionally is a lot wasteful. The space used by one television station in the analog domain today can actually accommodate between 18 to about 20
Other stations.
television stations.
Wow.
If it is done in the digital approach, depending on the quality of signals you want to broadcast.
Okay.
So for that reason, there was a decision to transit or to migrate
from analog
to digital, so that the wasted space can be recovered for use, particularly in new emerging technologies like the internet and such things. So, but this is not the first time in the history of communications that a major change
will occur like that.
The first time was when we converted from black and white to color television.
Okay, that's right. Because when WNTV started, truly, it was just black and white.
Yeah. So when we converted from black and white to color, there was an easy solution, which we refer to as reverse compatibility.
Okay.
That means that if a black and white station broadcasts and somebody is trying to get that station on a color television, they will get it at least in black and white.
Okay.
If a colored station broadcasts and somebody is trying to get it on a black and white television, they will get it at least in black and white.
In black and
now,
white.
if a colored station broadcasts and you have a color television, then you can see it in color.
In color.
So
okay.
the transition from black and white to color was mediated by this principle of reverse compatibility,
Okay.
in which you were able to continue to use your television set until you are ready to buy another one.
Another one. Okay.
But in the case of conversion from analog to digital television, there really is no middle space. You had to abandon your analog television and
get
the
new
digital television.
Yeah, digital television.
But because of the emergence of various digital broadcasting efforts before the formal transition, the whole idea of set-top boxes, what we call decoders, had been popularized. So it provided an intermediate, so that if you have an analog television, you could receive digital signals and use your set-top boxes to convert to analog to see for the meantime. So for that reason, it was important for the International Telecommunications Union to synchronize the transition worldwide, so that some people are not doing digital in a country
while others are doing
analog, and then it has interferences and all that. So that is the whole idea of the transition from
analog
to digital. It's not some local people's idea. It's a global
phenomenon.
Because many new developments, particularly that have to do with the internet are taking advantage of this more efficient use of the airwaves. And if you find that in Nigeria we're still having teething problems with internet, part of the problem is because we have not transited our television and freed up the space.
Now, that brings us to one thing. Nowadays, I think we have almost 40 radio stations in Ibadan only, even that are terrestrial. Not to talk of numerous other that it's internet based. What you have just talked about, does that explain why we could afford to have so much stations these days?
Well, yeah, the digital transition does not, or let me say, has not addressed radio as much as it has addressed television.
Okay.
Because the space that radio uses is relatively
smaller compared with television.
So whatever space you release by going from digital to analog radio is not substantial. For example, the what we call the digital dividends, that's what you gain from releasing space, is bound to run into billions of dollars if Nigeria actualizes the transition.
So you are saying that by not doing so, we are losing a lot of money, leaving a lot of money under the table uncollected.
Yes.
Wow.
So that is why it is important that the transition is completed in time and the space vacated and auctioned to those who want to use it.
So how far down have you come with that now? Are you at the point now that you can say, oh, this has been achieved and there can only be room for more expansion? Or what would you say? Would you say that so far we've done a good job of that?
Well, I am not the spokesperson of the Digi team, which was constituted by the presidency.
Okay.
I chair the technical subcommittee. So it might not be in my position to
really comment on that. I see what you're saying. So, but the part that you were asked to handle, you will say so far you are satisfied with the result that you've been able to bring.
Well, basically some of the things that some of the issues that were decided was that the transition from analog to digital should be used as a means of industrializing Nigeria.
Okay.
So it was decided that the set-top boxes must be locally manufactured. Number one. Number two, it was decided that there should be some kind of coordination with the various countries of ECOWAS.
Okay.
Such that we can share resources.
Okay.
So we can have commonality of standards. And we did attend lots of meetings at the ECOWAS level to achieve that. So
I know you do travel a lot to all these West African countries. So this is part of why you do all this traveling.
So we established common standards. Such that the local manufacturing will benefit from demands from other West African countries. And at the moment, I think, I can't remember how far, but a number of manufacturers have been...
I was about to ask you about that.
Have been licensed. They've set up shop. And they are working of good. There are little problems here and there, but generally that is going according to well, it's going, there's progress. Also, another issue that was considered is the fact that the investments of the local manufacturers should be defended, because it is not impossible for traders to go abroad and import,
like China, to China, for instance, and
import cheaper. So part of what was done, and this is part of the advantages of digital technology, is that every set-top box manufactured by a Nigerian manufacturer will have a single unique license, so that
Okay.
anyone that doesn't go through that system will not
be able to function.
will not work. So there are provisions made to ensure that all the licensed manufacturers are able to make good their investments.
Okay, so in this case, you will give kudos to our government to have at least followed suit on that, because they could have chosen to ignore United Nations, recommendation on that. So you will give kudos to our government.
Well, it's difficult to ignore the recommendations, because if you do not honor the recommendations, if neighboring countries interfere with your signals, you do not have any interest.
You do not have any interest.
But worse still, if you interfere with neighboring countries, then you are liable by international laws. So you have no choice. It was a decision taken globally. Everybody was
and we
there.
can't afford to be left out.
Yes.
Oh wow, that is so nice. Oh, Dr. Adebola, it is yet another wonderful moment to have you. Wow. Do you like to talk about the other side of you, especially the language? I know that your PhD was based on speech recognition. Is that correct?
Yes, speech recognition is the process by which you speak and a machine converts what you are saying to writing.
Okay.
I did my PhD converting Yoruba speech to writing through computing.
Okay.
But the novelty of my research is that I did not approach the problem the way it was done for English, French, German, and all this other languages.
Is that supposed to be a plus or a minus?
Well, it's the if your language
ṣé ká sọ pé bó ṣe wù ní náà là ń ṣe ìwòlé ẹni ó tún jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Okay.
If your language offers advantages, then you'll be foolish not to take it. It is not kì í ṣe ẹ̀bi Yorùbá ló fi jẹ́ pé òyìnbó ṣe é fìlú sọ.
Kì í ṣe ẹ̀bi Yorùbá ló fi jẹ́ pé òyìnbó ṣe é fi ìlú sọ. Ṣé pé ìlú wa kò lè fọ òyìnbó?
Ẹ fọ̀ká gbọ́.
Torí lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta yìí agbàlejò American ambassador ní gallery wa ẹ̀dẹ̀ wà ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ jọ náà, ẹ̀yin lè jágbàtẹ̀rù ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tí tá a ṣe ń jọ náà. Ọmọbìnrin kan tèmi tọ́pẹ́ ọmọ ọdún 16 ni, ó fi ìlú gángan kọ American anthem. Kọ American anthem.
Kì í ṣe pé ó sọ.
Mo ń bọ̀ ó ti pẹ́gá.
Ó fi kọ orin ní kì í ṣe pé ó fi sọ ọ̀rọ̀. Tí mo bá dé agbo, tí mo bá gbé dandandandan dandandandandan dandandandandan.
Babatunde ọmọ Ọdúnládé ọmọ Adébọ́lá
Babatunde ọmọ Adébọ́lá ní
wọ́n ti lé ẹni òmùkọ̀ ọ̀gọ́ dání ló méde àyàn ẹ̀yin lẹ́ mùkọ̀ ọ̀gọ́ lọ́ní.
Onílù tó ṣọ̀párọ̀ jọ̀rọ̀jọ̀ òun ló mọ tó ń sọ.
Ló mọ tó ń sọ. So sísọ yàtọ̀ fún kíkọ. Ẹ dákun ẹ sáwò.
Mo ti ṣe àlàyé
ẹ̀
pé ó ṣeé ṣe ká fi ìlú sọ èdè Yorùbá, ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá la fẹ́ fi ìlú sọ èdè òyìnbó kò ní bọ́ sójú ẹ̀, torí wípé ọkà kì í ṣọkà.
Ntí ń bẹ́ẹ̀ nu ọkà lọ́kà ń jẹ.
Ohun tó jọkà lọ́kà ń jẹ. Ní èdè òyìnbó ọwọ́ ó túmọ̀ sí hand.
Bó lè yóò ṣe wá sọ.
Ọwọ́ kò bá
ọwọ́ mu hand mu. Ọwọ́ náà tún bẹ́ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ lù ú.
Ọwọ́ jẹ́ broom. Ọwọ́ tábàjẹ́ tí ìfàdédé ìlú ó jẹ́ ọ̀nà.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ tún ni.
Ọwọ́
ọ̀wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
detachment
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ní wọ́n tó lọ́wọ́ ọ̀wọ̀.
torí náà torí wípé èdè Yorùbá ó ń lo ohun èdè tó fi jẹ́ pé ìtumọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ kì í ṣe consonant àti vowel nìkan ló ń sọ ìtumọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ lédè Yorùbá ohun tí wọ́n fi sọ náà
tún ṣe pàtàkì.
torí bẹ́ẹ̀ èdè Yorùbá
àgbàbí tí yóò ní tán lórílẹ̀ o.
ìyẹn wá fún èdè Yorùbá ní àǹfààní wípé a lè fi ìlù sọ a lè fi òfé sọ
ìfé
ìbàní a lè súfè oríṣiríṣi bẹ́ẹ̀ lóòótọ́ wọ́n sọ wípé ebi ń pa mí ò ṣe fífi
kò ṣe é wí wọ́n ní ọ̀fẹ́ wọná
ọmọ relé ló máa jọ ṣùgbọ́n ara gbogbo ẹ̀ náà ni wípé àwọn nǹkan tó dá lórí wípé kò sẹ́ni tó mèdè àyàn
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó
mú
ọ̀pá lọ
ni wípé ó fún wa láǹfààní láti sọ òótọ́ fún àwọn alágbára nítorí wípé a lè sọ wípé nǹkan tá a wí kọ́ yẹn.
ibi tẹ́ ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ dé tẹ́ ẹ parọ́ ìgbà tí ọba orin King Sunny Adé tá a gbé wá sí University of Ibadan kọ́lọ́wọ́ fọrùn kẹ́ Dr. Jagas òun ló ṣe MC ìjọ yẹn ló wá ní ó ní ọba orin ó ní mò ń ti fọ̀rọ̀ kan dúró dè ó nínú àwo kan tẹ́ ẹ ṣe pé obìnrin dúdú obìnrin pupa ọlọ́mọ jẹun kúkú obìnrin ó lẹ́yìn kan wá sọ pé n tí wọ́n wí kàn obìnrin dúdú obìnrin pupa ọlọ́run ṣáàjì kúkú ẹnìkan ṣáàjì pé ó bára mu náà.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni ètò ẹdẹ tẹnubọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé òyìnbó ṣe é fi
ìfẹ́ ó ṣe é fi ìlú sọ.
nígbà tí rédíò kọ́kọ́ dé Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n ń wá ohun tí a máa fi pè rédíò ni wọ́n wá pe bàbá wa ọba tó ìṣẹ́lá oyè.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọba ẹ̀dẹ́ gba ọba Òṣogbo kọ́ ẹ̀ náà ẹ̀dẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
kó wá sọ bàbá wa sọ wá fi ìlú sọ pé this is the Nigerian Broadcasting Service. ẹ̀yin náà mọ̀ yìí pé ọ̀nà tí wọ́n túmọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn sí.
ó pé gbà.
ó tẹ́gbà gbèjì. àgbọ̀ ìsàgbàdà mọ́ sí olórí olè nínú kòkò dúdú láti ń
ṣebẹ̀ bólúbàdàn bá kú tàbí òjòyè.
nígbà táwa wà lọ́mọdé ní iléèwé alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni mo rò pa Kínyẹlé ló kù tí kọ bí owó joyè
tó joyè
tí wọ́n bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní lu kíní ẹ̀ lórí rédíò àwọn máa dá lóhùn pé Olúbàdàn ti kú kọ bí owó ti joyè.
wọ́n lÓlúbàdàn tó kú jẹ wá ń ta o kò sóní gbèsè níbí ẹ lọ sí ilé kejì.
torí náà àǹfààní ńlá ló jẹ́ fún èdè Yorùbá wípé ó ṣe é fìlú sọ. torí nígbà tí mo wá ń ṣe ìwádìí láti ṣe bí a ṣe lè mú èdè Yorùbá láti sísọ kí machine sọ di kíkọ mo ronú wípé kò yẹ kí n ṣe báwọn òyìnbó ṣe ṣe tiwọn torí kì í ṣe ẹ̀bi wa pé èdè tí wọ́n ṣe fún òyìnbó kò ṣe é fìlú sọ. mo wá lo àǹfààní wípé èdè tiwa ṣe é fi ìlú sọ. mo sọ àwọn consonant tó wà nínú èdè mo jù dànù àwọn vowel tó wà níbẹ̀ mo jù dànù mo wá mú ohun èdè nìkan ṣoṣo
nìkan gàbádáyà
ni mo fi ṣe ètò yẹn. a dẹ̀ rí wípé a fi wọn kẹ̀gbẹ́kẹ̀gbẹ́ pẹ̀lú ètò àlò consonant vowel àti ohùn fún àti ètò àlò ohùn nìkan ṣoṣo. a dẹ̀ rí pé ìkan ó ṣe dáadáa
ju kejì lọ.
torí náà nǹkan tí èmi fi ṣe.
ẹ ṣeun mo fẹ́ béèrè kankan àwọn kan ní ìlú gángan o kì í ṣe ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló ti ṣẹ̀ wá ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí tòótọ́.
ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn nǹkan tí ẹnìkan bá pè ní tiẹ̀ tí ò bá jẹ́ pé bìkan ló ti rí ó ṣeé ṣe kó jẹ́ pé òun ló ṣe ẹ̀dá ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n a fi yé wa nínú ìtàn wípé àyàn àgálú wípé ó bá wọn ìbàrìbá rìn.
ó bá wọn ìbàrìbá rìn.
àti wípé ìlú bí gángan yẹn tí àwọn ìwé máa ń pè ní hourglass drum.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni hourglass drum because of the cylindrical.
Èyí pé àwọn tó wà lókè wa ni wọ́n kọ́kọ́ ń lò.
Ó mì pé kò sí rọ́ǹbẹ̀ pé kò sàn wá látọ̀dọ̀ wa níbẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀pẹ̀.
Ṣùgbọ́n ẹni tó bá mú èlò tẹ́nìkan fi lu kóńkóló 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 tó wá sọ di ìta fi ń sọ wípé Babátúndé ọmọ Ọdúnládé gẹ̀ẹ́sì ń kẹ́sẹ́.
Ó dé nù wọn bí ò dé nù wọn.
Ó ti fi àwọn àmúyẹ kan
ó ti fi
sí
wọ̀
orí
ọ́.
ètò yẹn tó yẹ ká fún wọn ní.
Àgbàbí tí yóò ní tán lórílẹ̀ ẹ dákun bàbá ní ká tẹ̀síwájú àkókò gbà wá láàyè tó bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn mi sì ti ń kàn sí mi ní pé bó ni o ṣe ṣe rí ṣé mo tún lè tún tọrọ pé ẹ tún padà wá jọ kan ìjọ Oliver mi ò ti mọ̀ gbèrè fún púpọ̀ jù báyìí Oliver Twist ẹ dákun torí torí ibi tí ọ̀rọ̀ ṣẹ̀ wá débi kòkòndùn ni mo mọ̀ lẹ́rù pàápàá jùlọ lẹ́rù ẹ mọ́ gbàgbé àti àwọn onójò báyìí o. Wow, it's been really wonderful with you, Dr. Tunde Adegbola, and I really appreciate your creating time out of no time to come today to yet another program on Aloore Radio, the program Oju Inu Agba Oye. Dr. Adegbola is the founder of African Languages Technology Initiative and also Tiwa System, who has been responsible for most of the radio stations you hear about these days all around in Nigeria and of course in West Africa. He's one of the brain behind it. And I think we are lucky that we have such a person with us here in Ibadan again. And also the ATM language that you use these days very freely, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. This is the person who was commissioned by Microsoft company all the way from America to make this happen. And we are glad that we are able to bring him here. And last week he was able to tell us how all those languages came to be on your ATM, that you use very freely. And you are happy these days that you have ATM that can communicate with you in your language. Dr. Tunde Adegbola, it's been wonderful with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much for coming again.
Thank you very much.
We are going to come knocking on your door some more. Please say yes. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Wow, ẹ ṣé gan. Wow, we are back again. We are back again, and we have with us Aminat Akogbe, who you always enjoy listening to Esa. Aminat, how are you? We missed you last week.
Yes,
ó mà dùn wá gbàtàrí. So a mọ̀ pé n tẹ́ bá lọ ohun tó ṣe pàtàkì iṣẹ́ ìlú náà ni. Ẹ sì ti adé bá ẹ dákun kílẹ̀ mú bọ̀.
Ẹkúnlé là kára lé o, ẹkú ọ̀nà là kérò ọ̀nà. Gbogbo lé pátápátá mo kí n ò lólòdì kankan. Ìgbà tí n ò lólòdì nínú ilé mebí kí n mo fẹ́ folódì dáṣe. Ìbà akọ́dá ayé, ìbà ṣẹ̀dá ọ̀run, ìbà gbogbo àgbààgbà tó ń bẹ níkàlẹ̀. Ìbà gbogbo ọmọ kéékèèké lé. Mo tún ti dé gẹ́gẹ́ bí ṣe mi kò ní sún mi kò ní rẹ̀ mi kòkòkò lára tẹ mi ò sì mọ́lé bá mi ẹkún ṣẹ́ látàtà àárọ̀ mo ní lágbára iṣẹ́ ìdùmàrè ìbànújẹ́ oníkọ̀rọ̀ yín nínú ilé ayé kòkòkò lára tẹ yín ò sì mọ́lé iye bí n bá ń wọnú ilé àwọn bàbá ti wà lórí mi á sì mọ wú gbogbo aráalé o ìwọ olódò ọba ni mo ń lọ gbogbo ọmọ owó tó ń bẹ níkàlẹ̀ tó ń bẹ níjọ kò mọ ní ẹ mọ fìwé lọ orin mi ìwó tó dídẹ rẹ pé tẹnu ẹ káróbótó ọlọ́bọ̀ ọbẹ̀ dúró ọmọ yín kíní bọ́ ọmọ lẹ́nu mo ní ẹ mọ fìwé lọ orin mi lọ mo ní ó dìgbà kíní mo gbọ́ pé nínú ilé mo tún gbọ́ pé lókì táìkù kàrà lẹ́yìn ilẹ̀kùn mo ní kí ní ṣe báwọn wọn lálejò ìṣó béèrè òun mo bá wà ní mọ̀ ṣe ó dìgbẹ́ kejì ọ̀wẹ̀ mo gbọ́ pé nínú ilé mo tún gbọ́ pé lókítà ikú kàrà lẹ́yìn ilẹ̀kùn wọn ní kí ní ṣe báwọn wọn lálejò ìṣó béèrè òun mo bá wà ní mọ̀ ṣe ó dìgbẹ́ kẹta ọ̀wẹ̀ mo gbọ́ pé nínú ilé mo tún gbọ́ pé lókítà mo ní kí ní ṣe báwọn wọn lálejò ìṣó béèrè wọn ní ó dá sẹ́mi níṣẹ́gbẹ́ òlé lọ́ba wọ́n ní ṣé mi ò níṣẹ́gbẹ́ òlé níṣẹ́dó mo ní kàkà kẹ́mi ó ṣẹgbẹ́ òlé lọ́ba kàkà kẹ́mi ó ṣẹgbẹ́ òlé níṣẹ́dó mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ́ ajínigbé ìbáṣẹlẹ̀ mi ò mọ̀ sí ọba ǹjá ọmọ àṣẹ lókè mo ní ẹ mọ́ fìwé lọ orin mi lọ ọmọ yín kí ní bọmọ lẹ́nu ìwọ tí ó nílẹ̀kùn mẹ́bẹ́rú wẹ́wẹ́ ni wọ́n fi ń délé nù lé àwọn bàbá tí wọ́n máa tẹ́nígbọ́ lá máa tẹ́nígbọ́ rẹ ni wọ́n ń pè wọ́n nù lé bàbá wọn. iye gbogbo ọmọ èkó tó ń bẹ níkàlẹ̀ ṣé wọ́n fìwé lọ orin mi èkó àkété ìlú ọgbọ́n o bàbá ta ńlá bàtà bútú bàbá omikomi ta ńlá bàtà bútú bàbá odò òòsà ní ẹsẹ̀ ẹ mọ̀mọ́ sẹ́kútẹ̀ẹ́rẹ́ febó sàmọ́ gbẹja òsàmọ́ gbẹran odidi ẹni ní kútẹ̀ẹ́rẹ́ àmọ́ gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹni nínú ilé bàbá tí wọ́n ìyẹ́yọ́ o ayé lè ẹ̀yọ́ o ẹ̀yọ́ bàbá ń tà wá tí ń fi góòlù ṣeré àwa onísanwó onígòlè òdìlé bẹ́ẹ̀ mi là bíkẹ́ olóhùn mẹ́rin ìlòpin yóò bá ti wù mí ni wọ́n mọ̀ lò nítorí yan mi lọ́wọ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ ló àbẹ̀jálà nígbọ́n ogun bírọ̀ mo ló tún dọjọ́ mi ọjọ́ rẹ̀.
Aminat orí mi ó mọ̀ wò ó ò ṣe gan-an ni ó kú ohun ń bí abadé náà ní í jóun o a máa sọ wípé tó ẹ ṣeun adúpẹ́ tẹ wà ń kalẹ̀ láti gbọ́ wa ẹ tó wà lórí ìjókòó ẹ tó wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ẹ tí ń wakọ̀ lọ́wọ́ tẹ́ ẹ pé àwọn aláriwo ètò ti dé jàre tẹ́ farabalẹ̀ tẹ́ gbọ́ wa bàbá ní ká tẹ̀síwájú alimọ́kúrò ń bí lónìí torí ọ̀tán lẹ́nu okùn níkùn Aminati Akàngbé ó ṣe gan ni lọ́sẹ̀ tí ń bọ̀ á tún pàdé nínú ilé agbára lónìí o aláwọn ọmọ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ Túndé Ọdúnládé Art and Culture Connection tó bá dọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ á mú wọn wá wọ́n wàá ṣàlàyé kí ni tí wọ́n mọ̀ tí jáṣà láyé òde òní kí ni iṣẹ́ ọ̀nà tí wọ́n ń kọ́ ọ̀nà wo ni wọ́n fẹ́ gbà fi mú lò fún ìdàgbàsókè ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àti orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà àti gbogbo àgbáyé lápapọ̀ wọ́n nítorí òrìṣà tá a bá fi ojú ọmọdé hàn píparun ní parun bó bá dọ̀sẹ̀ tí ń bọ̀ á mọ̀ mú wọn wá àwọn nínú àwọn tí wọ́n tẹ̀lé wa wá lónìí a rí Adéjuyì tán ìní olúwa Ọláyẹmí Aliat Tinúọlá Akíngbẹ̀yìn David Yẹmí àti Barakat Adédùnní ara àwọn tájọ wá pẹ̀kẹ́lu ètò yìí lónìí rèé túnmí ṣe adùn bá dùn túnmí ṣe Gabriel òun náà tẹ̀lé wọn wá àwọn ọmọ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ Túndé Ọdúnládé Art and Culture Connection nìyẹn mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó bá gbé sókè gbé sísàlẹ̀ Déjì orí mi ó mọ̀ wọ̀ ọmọ Ọláwọ̀yí kọ́ àtọ̀gá tí rẹ́rìn músẹ́ lẹ́yìn ọ̀gá wa tí wọ́n ń bẹ lókè Dr. Wasiu Ọlátúbọ̀sún àwọn ni commissioner fún Ministry of Information Culture and Tourism wọ́n ṣe wọ́n kó àlejò wa Mrs. Aboyode Ojo ẹ ṣe àwa kí olórí oko bámbàm olórí oko pátápátá tá à ń bẹ nínú kulu wọn láàrin GSM studio èyí ọ̀gá wa Gọ́vnà Ṣèyí Mákindé àjíǹde àrọ́mọjẹ́wò gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ wá lónìí lórí ètò yìí adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín dókítà Túndé Adégbọlá ẹ ṣé o ẹ kú dìde ọ̀gbẹ́ni Dayọ̀ Alówólò Aminat Akàngbé àtèmi náà tí mò ń pẹ̀kẹ́lu gbogbo ètò Túndé Ọdúnládé lórúkọ mi tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ pè wá 09039853731 máa wí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 09039853731 tó dìgbà míì tá a tún pàdé níjọ́ mẹ́jọ òní ìpàdé wa bí àdùn bí oyin chẹ́rí o.